We're here today with singer Matt Barlow, longtime member of the band Iced Earth, and his new band Ashes of Aries has a new album, New Messiah. Matt, how you doing today?
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Well, Ashes of Aries is back here with a new album, New Messiah. Can you tell the listeners a bit about the new album here?
Yeah. New Messiah, we've actually had it out. It's been in the can for about a year. So we've been kind of waiting on it. Our label merged with another label. And so, we became fish in a much larger pond. So, that's kind of the way things work out sometimes. So it just took a little while to get things promoted. I mean, we were sort of ahead of the curve with it anyway. And Freddie and I, we don't like too much time in between projects. So, we finish one, do some touring on one, and then we start working on another one just because we're just that way. But yeah, it's, I think I think this record is our fourth, and it's sort of a natural progression, I think, for us musically. Still paying tribute to some of our, the folks that influenced us, the bands that influenced us early on. I think there's probably with this one, there's a little bit more, I'm not going to say more, maybe a little bit more like thrash kind of influence. I was definitely, heavily influenced by the Bay Area thrash scene back in the 80s when I was kind of coming into it and, kind of coming into music and kind of discovering music in the early 80s. So it's, it's just kind of cool. It's kind of full circle for me a little bit. And then of course I was in a band that was of a similar sort with my brother early on. So it's sort of kind of like where I came from, and, sure. I know, Freddie's got a death metal background and, some thrash in there obviously as well, but, it's kind of like an old school record, it's definitely, pays homage to that while, still trying to put our seal on it. And, I don't think that Freddie and I really pull any punches when it comes to, naming our influences and things like that and what influenced us as musicians. So we tend to kind of get into that zone, and that's the kind of stuff that we really enjoy. So of course that's the stuff that we enjoy playing, and that's the stuff that we like to write. So hopefully, there's some other folks out there that kind of dig the same stuff, or maybe for a younger generation, it's newer to them and a little fresher, maybe, but we try to obviously put our spin on it and add our influences that we've come across as we're going up through the ranks in music and things like that. But, we do what we do because we love to do it. And, we don't really, we don't get any pressure from our label or anything to hey, do this or do that or sound this way. They trust that we're going to put out product that's going to be, good for them and good for the fans of the music. So, that's kind of where it's at. A lot of these songs are, I don't think that there's any of the songs actually that we were using from other material or from other, times. I think pretty much everything that we have here, some of the lyrics and things like that are things that I've acquired, at least the ideas of them, modify them as the songs progressed. But some of the ideas or concepts are some that have been around for a while, but mostly everything was pretty much kind of fresh out of the oven, so to speak. We weren't holding off on any tracks from previous records for this, and there was nothing that nothing that we had passed on before and we're putting on this record because
sure. We
like to try to keep everything as fresh and kind of organic as it can be as we're writing, and we do write maybe a little bit differently than other bands do. I don't know what every band's kind of position where that's concerned, but we live in two different places. I live on the East Coast. Freddie lives out west, and so we write songs by sharing files back and forth, texting, emailing, talking on the phone. Just kind of saying where we are going with these songs and what direction, and it usually works out pretty well for us. So we're very complimentary to one another as far as our ideas and things like that, and supportive of what our likes and dislikes are. And we usually don't have any issues. Like if there's something I absolutely don't like, or as far as the direction, Freddie's like, okay, cool, let's change it. If if there's something that he feels very strongly about, and thinks it should be part, then I'm 100% for it. We're just very complimentary that way. We just don't waste time in like arguing about stupid stuff. You know what I mean? We just go forward and make do what's best for the songs, because at the end of the day, that's what's important, right? So, yeah,
definitely. Well, obviously, you and Freddie have been together since your Iced Earth days, and you guys are like brothers at this point. It sounds like it's great that you're continuing to evolve here. You mentioned your fourth album, and the Elton John cover. That was especially a surprise when I saw that. That definitely, you're not afraid, as you mentioned, to have your influences on your sleeve.
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, and they really do come from all angles. I mean, we've done, we've done Chris Cornell covers before, and we don't really that we have our influences obviously are kind of steeped in metal. Other artists certainly influence us as we go along, and I think I'm not going to say other artists can't be hey, I'm 100% metal and this is what I do, but for me, I've just always kind of been open. I mean, I listen to country music, I listen to to hip hop. There's all kinds of stuff that I listen to that I think is cool. I mean, it really depends on how it affects you, and if you think it's got some some value there, however it affects you, and I'm gonna feel the same way. I think it's whenever people just automatically shut down whenever they hear metal, it's metal, I can't listen to that crap, or what. It's like, well, that's kind of crazy to me, because you should remain open, and because I'm open. I mean, I'm open to all kinds of stuff. Sure. I don't just go, this is it and that's all. I mean, do I respect my genre that I live and work in? 100%. Do I respect the fans that are truly valuable and invaluable in this in what I do? 100%. But at the same time, I don't begrudge metalheads who listen to other forms of music. I think it's important to just at least know what's out there, and the world is certainly large enough for all of it, and that's kind of the way that I feel. And
sure,
and it kind of is cool, because whenever you take a song that's not necessarily a metal song, you can look at it and go, this is why music is so broad. It can be. You can take an Elton John song and turn it into a metal song. That's the cool part about it. There's and I challenge other people to do that. I think it's cool. And people have done it, and some kind of fail and crash and burn, and but others. I mean, I've seen people be able to do a lot of things with other genres and vice versa. I mean, I've seen them take metal songs and turn them into other types of songs. I think it's just all possible, and why not? I would imagine that we'll continue to do that, man, because it just it makes things interesting, and especially in our genre where yes, we could do covers of metal songs. I mean, I've done them. I mean, I did a shit ton of metal covers and hard rock covers and things like that. That's always possible. But it's more interesting to me to kind of take something that's not metal and kind of make it metal. It just shows how diverse metal can be, and how diverse, metal musicians can be. But, it just lets everybody know, hey, why not listen to what moves you? I mean, there's any number of things that can move you. I know that, a lot of true metalheads are, if you get right down to it, you've got a lot of, classical music that's very much influenced metal musicians. I mean, I'll just listen to, just a lot of stuff that comes out of Europe. A lot of European metal is like sure. heavily based in like classical runs and stuff like that. It's just cool, man. It's very, very cool and interesting. It's and it just, I don't know. I think it just adds to the world of music. There's certainly nothing wrong with that.
Well, I know you've been in the metal world for 35 years or more now. How do you feel about the metal scene now? I know there have been ebbs and flows as far as the mainstream popularity, but the diehard metal fans, they seem to remain loyal to their bands, more than any other genre, I think.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's pretty profound. Actually, it's I don't know why that is exactly, but I certainly appreciate it. I mean, I can't say enough about how appreciative I am of people that have followed my career and, have, come up and, are older, and I've seen, older fans that, them bring their kids to shows and things like that, and introduce their kids to the genre that they enjoyed. And it, it goes on and on. And so that's pretty special, man. I mean, it really is. The genre's been very, enduring throughout the years, and I think it's just gotten better. Yes, you're right though. With the, there are certainly ebbs and flows, just like with anything. There's peaks and valleys with I think with all genres. Certainly with metal, and there's slight changes here and there, and we get back to. We've gotten back a little bit more to traditional metal since new metal, but then again, the new metal bands are kind of bouncing back too, and they're doing arena tours and stuff, and that's cool too, and that's pretty awesome as well, because at least those people that grew up listening to that now have kids, and they're bringing their kids to that. So I think it's all good, man. I think it's especially good for me, and knowing I've got kids, and taking them to concerts and things like that. I think that it just shows you that, again, music is so universal, man, and it just really connects people. It makes, family connections that much better. And it's fantastic.
Well, when it comes to the new album here, New Messiah, you and Freddie, of course, going strong. Who else is playing with you on the new album? Do you have, is it session guys, or do you have maybe another band that you might take on the road? Or
yeah, we've got some friends playing on it. Kyle Taylor, who was a longtime friend of Freddie's, played the drums on the record. So that was really cool to have him join us. He's also out of Phoenix area. So it was also good for, kind of logistically, it was great because, he was there and, was able to go into the studio and track the drums. And, so that worked out really well. Then we do have some other folks, like Charlie Honig plays some lead on the record as well. He's our touring guitar player. We were able to have Todd LaTorre guest on the record as well, but he's not doing what he normally does, which is singing. He's best known obviously for his lead singer of Queensryche, but he also is a world renowned drummer. At least I believe he's a world renowned drummer. He's a fantastic drummer, and he contributed to actually that Elton John cover we were talking about. And again, it just kind of shows you again how diverse we can be in metal, right? So you've got a guy who plays for one of the top metal bands in the world, Queensryche, and sings for them, and yet he's playing drums on our record for an Elton John cover. I mean, that's pretty cool stuff, right?
Definitely.
And then Blackwell, who is Todd's partner in his solo stuff. He's a guitar player and phenomenal guitar player, producer guy. He actually played a lead on one of our songs as well. So that's just cool, man. That's kind of what to me it was what it's about. Kind of that family within the metal genre, and we kind of look out for each other. We've had a lot of our friends play on records in the past as well. Primarily, most of the music is done played by Freddie. I mean, he's a fantastic musician. He plays bass, guitar, drums. He does it all. I mean, so whenever we're writing, Freddie usually does the scratch drum tracks whenever we're putting together songs, and then we hand it off to somebody else to do the drums. But everything else Freddie handles: guitar, bass. Excellent.
Yeah, it seems like the metal world is like a fraternity in a way, and I know in the last few years you've done some other stuff with. I know you and John Schaefer of Iced Earth did the Christmas thing, and you've done some stuff with Pyramaze. Is Ashes to Aries kind of the main focus now, or are you maybe doing some other things on the side too?
Well, Ashes of Aries, we are, this is my main band. Freddie and I do a lot of work with this band and working on these records. So I mean, I do try to make time for friends if they ask me to do things, but this is our main main focus, and this is what we do. So yeah. I have to, and there's been stuff that I've had to turn people down because, they want me to do guest spots and all that, but man, I just don't have that kind of time, especially with this band being at the forefront. And then of course I've got a career and family. So I can't really make a lot of extra time when I'm kind of focused on certain things. I don't want to spread myself too thin. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, I know you've got a few shows scheduled here for this year. Could we see some more shows added? Maybe could you make a trek through the U.S. or maybe later this year, or early next?
Yeah, I mean, we would like to, man, if we can. It's just, it's money, man. It's kind of one of those things. If we have to have local promoters that are willing to take a chance on us to kind of get us through. So if you know local promoters that anybody that's listening to your show, local promoters that might like to have us, then please reach out to us and we'll see what we can do putting something together. Again, this is not our full-time gig. So, we're sort of limited as far as how much time we can put into that side of it. In Europe, we have an agent who puts together the tours and really does that, very well. And he knows a lot of people and knows a lot of promoters and things like that. So it's a little bit easier to put this stuff together. I'm not going to say easy. Elias is going to be upset with me and thinking that I'm saying that his job is easy. It ain't. But he knows more people and it's closer, to where he is. So it's a little more difficult to book those kind of shows in the U.S. Again, that whole ebb and flow of things. Not for nothing. There's a lot of bands out there. I'm not going to say it's saturated, but most bands that do this for a living, they've got a tour. So it's a lot more saturated than it once was. And so Freddie and I don't do this for a living. This is something that we do because we love it. And we have a record label that's willing to support us in that respect. But this is not our day job. So it just takes a lot to do it. So we really kind of rely on local promoters and things like that to kind of get things together for us. But we'll see what we can do in the U.S. And right now we're focusing on Europe. We've got a couple weeks of shows coming up end of September into October. And that should be, a nice, hopefully we can do well there and then kind of keep that ball rolling as well. We'd like to do something in the States, obviously, and maybe South America as well.
Well, it's great that you're able to make that work with your schedules. And, it's tough. I don't have to tell you this, but I mean, people aren't making money on albums anymore. And now it's tough to be making money on the road as well. So it says a lot about the people who stick in there and keep going at it.
Yeah, it is, man. And I know that there are a lot of bands that are, this is not their full-time thing, but they're out there plugging it away and doing the best they can. And so I give them every ounce of respect for doing that because it is tough. It's a tough business. But I just think it sucks whenever whenever you're really plugging away at it and you're dipping into your life, your bank account to fund that when it should be something that should be funded as you're playing. It's tough, and it's that balance. It's not that I don't come out of pocket. Somewhat we all do, right, as musicians, but at the same time to go broke, trying to make a tour happen that's not good for anybody. I don't think anybody should be out of their putting themselves in financial jeopardy to support a tour. So that's why we say we have to be smart about it. We can't just put out, throw a whole bunch of money at something and go, okay, well, this is otherwise, otherwise we look at it as, well, that's our vacation money or whatever it is, that we're just kind of throwing it at it. And it's not really vacation. You know what I mean? It is work. It's a lot of hard work out there. And we're happy to go out and tour and hopefully make people happy when we play. But at the same time, nobody should be in a financial ruin to try to do that. So I think it is that balance. Kudos to bands that can do it. It's tough, man. It's really hard.
Well, Matt, again, the new Messiah album is out here. Is there anything else maybe you're working on or something else the fans should be watching out for?
No, nothing that I'm aware of. There may be something coming out, but I don't want to drop it. It was just a guest spot for a friend of mine, but
Okay.
I don't want to drop it before it'll probably be out in a little while, probably after our record has released and hopefully released here in the States. So I may do something at that point. So if, or I will probably put something out on social media once it drops, but it's just working with a friend and doing, one song. So it's not a huge thing, but it's really cool for me because he's a really good friend of mine. And, I think it's going to be a cool thing, but I just got a hint at it. That's all I can do.
Awesome, man. Again, thank you so much for your time. I dig the album here, and it's been great speaking with you. Hopefully we can do it again sometime.
That'd be great, man. Just let me know.
And again, that was Matt Barlow, and his band Ashes of Aries has a brand new album out, New Messiah. It's available now.